Hello, Aries. I am Ulrich. I'm a Lenormand card reader, but this time we will use a financial deck for your card reading. The deck contains 44 cards and the laying is done with 3 cards, which you see here in front of me. You can also see 4 objects here in front of the table, meaning we will do 4 card readings for each astrological sign for the month of August 2021. And this video here is for Aries. From these 4 objects, you choose or you picked one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current financial situation or the advice that you are receiving from the cards regarding that financial situation. Of course, you can watch all 4 videos related to the Aries sign. And after you watched all 4, you can then decide which symbol or object is fitting your personal card reading or financial situation the best. The matches here represent the fire element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, the stone represents the earth element, and the shell represents the water element. So, Aries, here we go for your card reading for August 2021. Hello, Aries, and welcome to the shell or the water group for your card reading for August 2021. So we give a quick overview of the cards here. You see here the first card, it asks you if you are still in balance or if you are living beyond your means. The second card is about social pressure around us, and the third card is about publicity that is surrounding us. But now we will connect the 3 cards. So the first card is about, this asks you if you are living beyond your means, actually. Sometimes it's better not to spend some money that we don't have. Why? Because the answer is simple, because eventually it will lead to becoming in a difficult or a very difficult situation, and eventually it leads that we sometimes hit our head literally against the wall. If you have certain unpaid business or debts, well, this card tells you if you continue like this, it will take a lot of efforts and labor to get out of this situation. It asks you also to realize that a purchase on your credit card don't pay completely by the end of the month. So you will need to repay your debts, and you will have, of course, large amount of interest, because that's always the case here with credit cards. They have exorbitant interest fees. So you must realize that certain things that we buy, it have consequences of an expense, and if you're unable to pay in a short time span, it will cost you a lot more than you anticipated before. This card asks you also that you need to be aware that none of us is safeguarded from unexpected expenses. So this card asks you to realize if you go below 0, and you are in a certain balance and you're blocked, you cannot go any deeper, it's possible that certain expenses pop up you did not incalculate. So you need to calculate this also. So this month, this card asks you, go on an adventure by using your credit cards, and will you able to control them? This is what this card asks you. The second card we see here, it's about social pressure. And it's connected actually to the third card and the first card. What is social pressure? Well, in general, we all compare ourselves to our peers, meaning we check out the neighbor's car, we check out the people, our friends, we check what they have. We live in a community, and in that way, our place in society in relation to others is established. We need to admit that we all live in a society of overconsumption. So your neighbors, your friends, they drive around in luxurious car, they wear nice designer clothes, expensive shoes. So for your part, you are struggling each month at the end of the month to pay all. And you ask probably yourselves how my neighbors, friends, relatives manage to get there. Well, this card tells you not to compare your financial situation to others or those around you. We all make choices every day, for we are the sole responsible. So don't let your financial appearance, don't let financial appearances of others fool you. This card suggests to use your money wisely instead of spending amounts of money that are not necessary. If you need to buy certain things, for instance, this card suggests you to use your money wisely. For instance, you can buy used articles with an extended warranty. So for certain purchases, you can visit a second-hand store, or you can buy very young goods on the internet. This is what this card tells us. We need to be smart with our money. Sometimes these articles we find on the internet and in second-hand stores, they're still unpacked, they never even opened. So this card tells you this, that you need to check this. You need to define yourself socially by your personality and your personal accomplishment, and not to those of other people. Your personal accomplishments are more important than the clothes that your neighbors wear. So don't bend for the social pressure and go your own way. Don't bend for the social pressure of your friends, peers, relatives, neighbors. So go your own way. And this card is connected to it. It also tells you connect to that. It tells you not to go into publicity. If you receive publicity in your mailbox, on the internet, just pretend it's not there. Do your best to ignore it, and it will improve your situation. We are all confronted with many advertisements a day. It's like a bombardment in our head. It's like a propaganda, and it's everywhere. You need to distinguish, this card advises you to distinguish the essentials and the luxury goods, because you see the cell phone here, there's a lot of gadgets nowadays. So we need to distinguish without losing our direction. We need to realize that we have a continuous pressure from marketing here and from our social environment. So sometimes we start searching for things or tech gadgets or shoes that we don't really need. Just compare the situation with years ago. For instance, the situation with your parents, your grandparents, they needed to do with much less. So take a critical look at your situation and just try to limit your curiosity about the recent trends. If you do so, you will see your whole situation in a new light, and you will improve financially. So again, if you spend wisely, don't overspend and go with your credit cards in the negatives. Don't bend for social pressure. Just don't mind what cars or the people drive or what clothes they wear. Just do your own thing and don't bend for publicity. Just ignore what is happening on the internet and things that happening around you. So Aries, for the water group, this is all for now. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so, and see you maybe next time. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Aries, and welcome to your financial card reading for August 2021. This time we continue with the Aerosol or the air group. The first card we see here is about our children. So probably you have children in your neighborhood there. And it points us to, I just do a quick overview. It points us to the circle of life and the different stages we come in as a child, as an adult, and as a mature and an older person. And the last card is about we give small amounts of money the value that they deserve. I explain myself. So the first card we see here, it tells us that our children are a very beautiful wealth, but as you see the pig here, it costs a lot of money, and you're probably aware of that. So sometimes children are very tentacious to get what they want. So there are essential expenses for them and others that are less essential. So when you get requests as a person directly to you, you will lose your head if you want to do good and you want to follow everybody in the needs that you have, especially this is related here to your children. So this card asks you if you invest in the right things, for instance, in their education, their culture, their health, or are you following the trends and the flow of the other parents? This card asks you to establish your priorities according to your personal values and not according to those of others or the tears of your children. Don't tell yourself stories because children have no limits as it is to their desires. Some children, I'm not generalizing, but some children will not stop. As soon as they receive one thing, they have another request ready for you. So this card tells you not to put your energy in that kind of things and act wisely. You can be sure if you say the word no, that young people are able to understand. You need to teach them their priorities and the value of money. Here, the next card, it's about the cycle of life. And it's related to the first card. So we all come in a certain cycle of life, and every cycle has its challenges, no matter what stage we are in, and everything comes with certain expenses. We think if the child is small, we have a lot of expenses, but when the child starts to walk, we think we are liberated. But then we come to the fact that they start school and we have expenses from the school and they are in certain clubs and we didn't anticipate that. Then they get older, then they come in university and it continues till they actually are married, and then you are confronted with the marriage. You get my point. For example, people are sometimes making miscalculations about these stages. It's actually never over. With teenagers, it's sports. With older people, with older children, it's university. So it's always something. So just because they are 20, the expenses are not over. So that's what it means, this card. This card tells you, you need to realize if one hurdle is solved, the next is in your doorstep. So you need to calculate what is coming related to your children, because it's 2 times here. So I'm assuming it's related to your children. Then the last card, it's the value of small amounts of money. What does this mean? Well, sometimes with credit cards especially, we lose track of small amounts of money and we don't pay attention anymore, and it quickly leads to serious amounts of money. And sometimes it affects that at the end of the month, we have difficulties and we ask ourselves, where does the money goes? Sometimes it's related to our children. Sometimes it's related to a cycle of expenses that was to be foreseen. But nevertheless, it puts you in the situation where you are. So it asks you to take a critical look at invoices around you. Also, if goods are discounted around you, for instance, you need to incalculate the real value of it. Don't go into discounts. Don't be blinded by that. Keep your financial clarity. It takes a lot of coins or bills to create 100, and then that one creates thousands, and all in all, it becomes a lot of money. So each small amount or coin, it has a great importance in our lives. sometimes we forget about this. This is what this card tells you. Small amounts are important. So next time you visit a store, rate, check what you have bought. Look at all your articles and ask yourself, did I need that? Do I need that? Before you go in the cashier. Maybe you lost a little bit track of small amounts and small things that you buy. And sometimes because we lose track, we spend what we don't want to spend, or we don't see the real value of it anymore. That is what this card says. So it asks you to reevaluate the little coins, the small bills, and let it have its moment of glory. In doing so, you will quickly regain larger amount of money, and they will come very handy here in the cycle of life of your own and of your children and the education of your children in general. So Aries, for the month of August, for the air group, this is all for now. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so, and see you next time. Thank you. Hello Aries, and welcome to the Earth or the Stone group for the month of August 2021 for the Aries group. So the first card we see here is the card of time. It tells us in many cases that time and money are not friends. We will go deeper into that later now. This is about budgeting our things and especially determine what kinds of budgets that you need to make. And this is about social pressure, meaning the pressure that we are undergoing from our peers, neighbors, related to money, budgets, and so on. So we will start with the first card here. Why is time not our friend, or time does not matter? Of course it matters. It's actually the contrary. Generally, time makes situations worse. If you're in a financial difficult situation, for instance, if you have interests to pay over certain costs, these will continue to run and the debts will increase. That's, for instance, an example related to what time does to money. If you experience in some kind of difficulties, this card asks you to face your problems, not to put your head in the sand, because it will not improve your situation. You must take charge of the situation and not wait to the holidays or whatever to take action. It will get your situation make your situation only worsen, and maybe the problems get deeper. So you need to take the bull by the horns, as they say. It's now the time to act. Also, this card asks you to make yourself financial more secure. You need to have a change of habits here, according to this card. Maybe there's some certain things that you apply related to your budgets, and these cards ask you to change those habits. It asks you to take out, for instance, paper and a pencil, the old-fashioned way, and make some kind of adjustments. You put everything on paper and you see how you can adjust your budget and to move forward. The second card here is about budgeting things. Probably you have some certain goals you want to achieve in your life. And this requires, of course, a form of leadership, and we need to take initiative. We need to set up a certain course, follow a certain plan. For some of us, it's easy and it's obvious what we need to do regarding to money and accountancy. For others, it's an impossible task to face. It's for you to determine whether what budget type exactly that you are. If you are a type that has the habit of budgeting, and you are in a financial difficult situation, or a not so sunny one, you need to ask yourself, this card asks you how you get there. Do you have some weaknesses, some weak spots some expenses you do regularly. So it asks you to keep or to make a certain plan. If you have a plan, to stick to the plan. Also, it asks you to foresee expenses that were not incalculated in, because those can always pop up, and then there would be shortages. Of course, we don't know when, but this card asks you to incalculate the unforeseen. So this card asks you or tells you not to be stubborn and find alternatives if your financial situation is not so sunny for now. It asks you to find an alternative. One alternative, for instance, is paying cash the old-fashioned way. Instead of using your credit cards, you actually put the money in your wallet and you pay the cashier or the person that you need to pay. You will see it's different. It's a different way of paying, and you actually see the money disappearing out of your wallets, and it will make you reflect where the money is gone. You will look in your wallet and you will think, oh, it's gone again. So this is what this card all asks you or suggests you. You need to find a method for improving yourself financially better. So you need to determine some kind of method which is best for you. This is about social pressure, the last card. We are constantly comparing ourselves with others, with our neighbors, with our peers, with our friends. So we live in a certain community, and it determines our place in relations to others. So, and also we need to add to this, we operate in a society of overconsumption. Your friends, neighbors, people you know, they drive around in nice luxurious cars, and they wear designer clothes, nice designer shoes. And you, for your part, you are living through difficulties at the end of the month, and you ask yourself how my friend, neighbors, relatives, how they manage this. This card tells you not to compare your financial situation to those around you. You make your own choices, and you are the one responsible for choices and for things that you buy. So don't let others' financial appearance fool you. This is what this card tells you. It tells you to be realistic and see things as they are. This card tells you to use your money wisely. Excuse me. For instance, if it's about large amounts of money that you're planning to spend, for instance, for a car, you can buy very young second-hand cars with an extended warranty. Or you can visit, if it's smaller things, you can visit second-hand stores who have still goods there that are never used, slightly used, and sometimes even come with the warranty. So it asks you to balance your money and not to bend for pressure of our surroundings. We need to think, or this card asks you also to think, that things on the outside looking pretty are not always so. So this card tells you live according to your own needs, your own abilities, define yourself socially by your personality and your personal accomplishments. These are ultimately much more higher in value than the clothes, the nice shoes, and the spectacular car that your neighbor drives in. So don't bend for social pressure for groups or friends or relatives. Budget your situation the best you can, and be aware of the fact that related to money, time is in most cases not our friend. So, Aries, for the Stone Group, for the month of August 2021, this is all. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so, and see you maybe next time. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Aries, and welcome to the matches or the fire group. You can see here the cards for this month. The first card is about cycles, meaning that everything in life has a place. It's a circle of life. That is what it's about, but I explain myself more closely later on. The second card is probably in this group, the people endure a very difficult financial situation right now, or even a very severe situation. but we will go into details later and we will combine later. And then the last card here is that we need to be aware, although we are in a difficult financial situation, there is still light at the end of the tunnel, because maybe previous generations before us had hard times also, but I will combine the cards now. So the first card here is about the cycle of life. It means that every time stamp in life, it has a certain challenge. For instance, you are now in a stage of your life that you probably did not anticipate it. And in general, many of us didn't anticipate this. This is for all of us. But anyway, meaning related to the virus. For example, but for explaining this card, there is a period in our life that you become parent or you became parent, and you think that the child of childbirth and infancy is very heavy, and you had a lot of financial expenses with your children, and you think later on in life it will improve, but then they become teenagers, then they go into sport activities, then the next step is university, and then before you know it, there you are with the marriage and the expenses related to the marriage. So this is my point. Life is a circle, and we come in certain parts of our life, and the expenses are connected to it. So this card tells you, if you can, you need to save what you have. You need to try to make some savings, and if it's possible, for repaying debts until a certain stage is completed. It's possible that you are in a difficult time now, in a hurdle, and the hurdle is actually at your doorstep, related to finances. But this card tells you need to stop delaying. You need to take the bull by the horns, clear up your financial situation, and get control over your money. The next card is the more heavy card of the deck. It's about, actually, in a severe stage, this card can actually mean bankruptcy. If you're not, you will be confronted probably with a severe financial situation. Probably it makes you think, you wake up at night about this, you have some deficits, and for some of you in this group, there will be a point of no return. This card asks you to consider all your options. If you are really in a severe financial situation, to consult a bankruptcy specialist or somebody who can help you to balance things out if you have no more overview. Especially if you are planning to sign some kind of or some form of agreement, inform yourself first and consult more than a professional. Evaluate, think about choices that you sign, think about advantages, disadvantages, make sure that you understand the impact of these choices and the process, about the present and the future. So you need to be aware of this. Some decisions have consequences. Maybe these are connected to things that are happening in your life right now. And if you want to balance this situation out, you will need to make certain sacrifices, and these sacrifices have consequences, and the consequences require sacrifices. So this tells you maybe there's a radical change of your life, and also for your consumption habits. You need to set your priorities regarding your life, and see that your basic things like food, living, heat, warmth is still there, that you can still manage yourself. If you did not reach that point, but you still have financial worries, this card tells you to think about, maybe you've been in a similar situation before, financially difficult, and maybe this circle has come back now. So this card asks you to think about it, how you get there, did you reach this point again? If you did not come out of this point, if it's not a rerun of the situation, you need to think about modification and some of your behaviors to adjust them. If you don't do so, you might, if you are not yet in a difficult situation, you might literally hit the wall. So if this card ends up here for you today, it's a reflection of your situation that that is with you right now. The last card here, it says ancestors. It's actually how people in the past lived with very few means. They had a very limited budget. Our grandparents, our over-grandparents, they had very limited budgets. What they earned was what they could spend. There were no credit cards. Also, many of them, if you had a business, I'm aware of that, they maybe were not able to do business, but anyway, they could be have confronted also if they have a small business with a difficult financial situation. But this card actually tells you that you need to think that maybe your situation is not so very bad. All in all, I think this card tells you that you can get the best out of the worst, but you need to think and act. There is no magicality here anymore. The situation, you need to see how it is. The question is now, you need to evaluate where you are now, and you need to establish and accept that probably you will need to live with less luxury. Just try to remember and go back to your basic needs. So for having a house, and see that you are safe. Just think that your grandparents probably also experienced the same thing. And maybe in a way, there is a cycle, a family cycle. Maybe some of your grandparents experienced the same situation. So that is what my point is here. You need to reflect, and you need to get the best out of a situation that is presenting itself to now. Oh, I think if you calculate, you can balance this whole circle back. It will take you a while to get over it, but as I said, many of us are now in a crisis. Even if some people then tell us it's all sunshine out there and everything is fantastic, I'm more a realistic type, and I see the things as they are. It's not all sunshine, and this situation has had severe effects of some groups of people, of us. So I'm not like other cartomancers. I'm not gonna tell you that everything is sunshine. For some groups, there's a reality here that is going on. So Aries, this is all for the month of August. For this month, maybe you are coming in a severe situation, maybe you're going towards there. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so, and see you maybe next time. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.